Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. A little different show today. I am Dave. I am joined by Ron. Ron, tell us what's going on.
Hi, I'm Ron. And today, on a very special episode of Digital to Dice, Aunt Becky made Ron some soup. Because of that, Ron got very, very sick. Now, it had nothing to do with Aunt Becky. In the middle of life, sometimes things happen. And last Monday, my wife woke up and I, told her what I wanted for breakfast. And she didn't feel well the day before. And I asked her how she was doing. And the disembodied ghost of Joan Crawford kind of came out of her mouth. I'm fine. Oh, okay. I said, well, I guess you're not going to work today. Why don't you take one of those COVID tests that we have? Because you just never know.
Mm-hmm.
So we do our morning routine, and I do what I do after I get my bath, and she's up, and she showed me the test, and the COVID test. Sometimes, the pregnancy test. Those are
Joker, and a triple.
Oh my goodness. So there's a control line, which is reasonably thick, which shows you what you're looking for. And then there's a spot where you hope it's blank. Again, it's just like the pregnancy test. Oh, no, it's like someone had taken a blue Sharpie and marked it where she had COVID. So absolutely, guess what? I guess you're not going to work this week. And I knew I'd be right behind. And sure enough, Tuesday morning, we do our thing. I'm not feeling well. She's not feeling well. We do the test, and my line was ballpoint pen. So for the last 6 days, my wife and I have been battling COVID. Now, we're both doing a lot better. We're both doing a lot better. But she's not clear to go back to work until late this week.
Oh, wow.
So I did a video for my channel yesterday to kind of explain what's going on and such, and we can kind of go. The topic of today is playing when you're sick, by the way, and I think I qualify for that. It's been, without getting into too much gross detail, the absolute strangest illness I have ever had. I mean, I didn't use a Kleenex for 4 days. And then Friday, it kind of shifted into a second gear. And I feel better than I sound. I know I can hear it in my head. I know I don't sound very well at all. But trust me, I feel a lot better than what I did a couple days ago. So,
oh, that's good. It might just be tired voice, too.
It is a tired voice. And normally when you're sick, you sleep. Now, I've been sleeping, as I say this, we've been sleeping at night. Mostly. But as far as when you don't feel good and you just want to curl up and get that 2 or 3 hour nap and hopefully you'll feel better, I've yet to have that.
Oh, wow.
After a full week, I've yet to be able to roll over and just kind of crash for 2 or 3 hours. I desperately want to do that because your body is fighting this all the time that you have it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would consider that Sarah and I had a hard cold in moderate or light flu-like symptoms. You look at what they consider to be, symptoms-wise for COVID, and Sarah and I had mild COVID. There's nothing mild about this.
Yeah, but it's not as debilitating as it has been in the past.
No, at no point did we think we were going to the hospital or anything like that.
That's good.
But still, it's been so, the thing that I need to watch going forward as we heal from this are energy levels. I almost have none. I mean, to the point where we're thinking, okay, I'm feeling better, and maybe I'll get some streaming done. And nope, that video I did yesterday was 5 minutes. And about 4.5 minutes into this, I'm going, you're done. You're absolutely done, as Dave sneezes. So look, it's contagious over the interwebs. How about that?
now you said that you said you were getting 3 to 4 enemas a day, and that really, really helped things out. Is that true?
Well, sometimes you just got to dig really deep to get to the root of the problem. And Why Sarah wouldn't let me help her with that, I don't know.
You got to clean from both ends sometimes, And
yes,
yeah, anyway.
We're kidding about that. Actually, one of the things that they do in communities to know about new variants is checking the sewer systems, because it was something that they here's something that you won't hear on a Fortnite stream. Okay, as we cross the streams and the channels, as the ambulance that Dave called to pick me up isn't coming to stop here. Is that at Arizona State University, they developed a system because college kids be college kids, that they could tell from, let's just say, the contents of said system, what the new variants of the virus would show up in it before they'd ever show up in a test or as a positive symptom. So there you go. So actually, that's
I've heard them doing it even around here. They're like, the wastewater is good, the wastewater is bad, blah 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 blah. So, but anyway, so all right. Well, let's kick on with the show. We'll go as long as we can today. Again, probably an abbreviated show, but we'll get a show in nonetheless. This is episode 133 of the Digital Dice podcast. You can find us at digitaltodice.com. That's the website over on Spreaker, where we park all the shows. 978-751-DICE is the dice line. 978-751-3423. Digitaltodice at yahoo.com is the email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. And over on Patreon, when we want to thank our Patreon sponsors again, over on patreon.com/digitaltodice. You can reach us over there if you'd like to support the show. Let's see here. Oh, we were supposed to go live Saturday night. I think that was April 30th with myself, Ron, and Tebow, and that just didn't work out as well. So we had to postpone that. That'll be coming up maybe later this week. Depends how it goes. If not, in the future, we're going to get Tebow on and talk some APA as well as a few other things. This Saturday night, if all goes well, and it's looking like it's going well, on May 7th, we'll be talking to the author of Misfits, Baseball's Worst Ever Team. That would be the Cleveland Spiders.
How could that possibly be the 2022 Cincinnati Reds?
I saw that. Somebody posted that the Reds are off to the same start as the Spiders. But anyway,
2018, yeah.
We'll be joined by J. Thomas Hetrick, scheduled live Saturday night on YouTube as part of a live show / recorded podcast. And you want to be there for this. If you got baseball questions, if you want to hear some baseball stories, you need to sit down and listen to this guy, because we chatted off air for a while, and he had some fantastic stories. So we're going to ask him about the book, what got him into writing the book, how hard was it to write a book about something so old, and then we want to get into some stories and some questions for you guys. So if you guys are around this Saturday night, probably around 7:30, I think we're looking to go on Eastern time, Boston time, this Saturday night, which would be May 7th, I believe. So
yes,
make sure you're around. Make sure you're around for that, for some good baseball talk. Cleveland Spiders Baseball is back here on the channel.
Not brought to you by Uncle Ron Snake Oil.
Uncle Ron Snake Oil. Well, have you been taking Uncle Ron Snake Oil? I don't know.
On advice of counsel, I plead the fifth.
All righty. Well, why don't we get into what we're playing? Why don't you start to tell us a little bit what you've been playing while you haven't been feeling good?
Okay. Really, as far as the show's concerned, some strat hockey. Mm-hmm. Something that, we'll get into this when we talk about the topic of the show, which is in about 2 minutes. Because he was looking for something. I was looking for something that was a balance of something that you felt like you were doing something. Because I think if you just get into just pressing buttons, I was going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Compared to something that if I knew I had to do a lot of deep thinking or a lot of decisions, such as strat basketball or anything like that, that was going to be too much for me to handle because brain fog is part of this process of COVID. There are things that you think are absolutely routine, and you realize that you can't pull out a name or something that you've talked about 100 times before. And you just aren't able to do it. So strat hockey, not to make that game sound simple, just seemed to be the right mix. And so 75, 76 Islanders. What did I play? 3 games? Oh, yeah, because Gardner said that the last game of those 3 would be the easy one. I wouldn't have to worry about it. I should never listen to Dave. So we actually beat a topic also for another day. I hadn't played that in about 6 weeks. We didn't realize it had been that long, but we get going back and forth between other projects and such. And so I had the Flyers as the first game, which is probably why I hadn't played it, because those are one of the few teams that I know can beat that 75, 76 Islander team. Plus, even in Strat, they're an angry team. There's so many penalties when you play the Flyers, and they draw penalties too. And the Islanders have their share of goons.
Yep.
We beat them. I forget the score, but we beat them. In fact, we beat them rather handily. Like, woo and who. And then you can make me remember what the hell I did last week, huh? We had it was Vancouver. And you're the one telling me, oh, yeah, that's the easy game. You'll throttle them.
You would think.
Well, we were up, I think. We had the infamous 3-goal lead at the start of the third period. And as Dave has said, and other friends of Tony Whitehill, friend of the show, has said, the worst lead you can have in hockey is a 3-goal lead.
Yep.
And Vancouver chipped away, and I believe they got down to 5-4 before. Yeah, they actually had a short-handed, and they pulled the goalie, and I couldn't score. So I won that, and then the third game I played was against Kansas City, the Scouts, and poor Guy Sharon and Denny Herron, because those are the only 2 players on that team. Herron's card isn't great, but Sharon is the only skater who can actually do anything. That team, if you're familiar with Strat hockey, are full of 1s and 2s, which in baseball is great defensively, but not in hockey.
Yeah.
So 6 needed points for the Islanders. And again, kind of fun and just enough of a decision-making and able to track that. And I was pretty impressed because that game just kind of saves, like Action PC, it saves after every play. And you just, when you want to end it, you just want to end, just go through and end it and go back. But all 3 games actually played out in full in one sitting as opposed to back. So that's pretty much what I play.
So you got some gaming in, so that's good.
There's some gaming in, yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about how you did that in our main segment. Oh, let's see. I played a bunch, actually, since we last talked. I finished my Ultra Quick Baseball Spiders season using Ultra Quick Baseball from Downey, and boy, they only won 4 games. They didn't, and the numbers were pretty weird too. I think they were very low compared to what they were in real life.
They didn't get you. I remember we went through them, and they nowhere near gave up the amount of runs that they did in real life.
Right.
So you would think that would have gotten them. I mean, what they were at 20 and 134, right?
Yeah.
In real life.
Yep.
You would think that because their offense was lower, but it was 0.2. It wasn't horribly low.
No, it wasn't that bad.
But their pitching gave up. It was almost 2.5 runs better than what they did in real life.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
4 and 134, 100 and whatever.
Yep. Now, to be fair, there was a couple of dice rolls. I would say 4 or 5 times if the dice rolls were reversed, the Spiders would have got a win. Because how it was set up, the Spiders really needed to get roll in the 60s, because on the 11 to 66, they needed to roll in the 60s and have the opposition roll in the 11, 12, 13 to get the win. And a couple times that was reversed, and that would have been a win. So some of it was bad dice roll. Some of it was just, it was so hard to get a win. Because, again, your maximum amount of runs for the Spiders was 4 or 5 sometimes, and the minimum for the other team was 4. So you had to really roll precise and then go into extra innings and beat them, which I did once or twice. But, yeah, so it was an interesting experiment. It was getting a little frustrating towards the end where just, boy, it was so hard to win. It really was. And they only got 4 out of the 20. So it was a fun experiment. And I'd like to do something with better teams next time to see how the better teams would do.
And I'm sure some of it had to do with the fact that they played so many road games.
Mm-hmm.
What, they only played, 37 home games or something like that?
Yeah, I think they're out of their last 40 games, they might have had 1 or 2 home games.
Right. And so that makes all the difference in the world, depending on, because you don't get that last out. Now, I know it doesn't matter for a game like that, but you would think that if you just, that's the whole coin thing. If you just flipped a coin 154 times, you're not going to get, what are the odds of heads only coming up 4?
Well, the thing is when you're home, the ratings were just a tad better at home. So there was a little bit better of a chance of getting a win. And we'll actually, when we talk to Jay Thomas about the Spiders, he'll tell us why they played so many road games too. So we'll find out about that.
I'm looking forward to this,
let's see what else I play. I've been playing some action PC hockey. I actually did a streaming Lafleur Bossy tribute game, 81-82. So I had the Canadians at the Islanders. Fun game. Canadians ended up winning. They were up by 3 goals. Islanders scored 2 late to make it a 1-goal game, and that's where it ended. But that was a fun game with Lafleur and Bossy. Lafleur scored. Bossy had 11 scoring opportunities, but he couldn't beat Rick Walmsley.
Yeah, no, don't talk to me about Rick Walmsley.
Yeah, so that's how that went. I also, late last night, I got called in to referee a hockey game, so I come home about 11:30, and I'm still wired a little bit from skating. So I fired up Action PC, and I had a neat idea. I went into WHA 7273. And I'm thinking, my first thought was, as I was driving home, was like, how would the SEALs do in the WHA? And then I was like, no, what would be even funner, more fun, is if in 72, 73, if the Flames and the Islanders were wooed into the WHA. Because the NHL expanded a little quicker than they wanted to because of the WHA. That's why they went into Atlanta and Long Island, especially Long Island, because WHA wanted Long Island really bad. So in my little...
Well, let me hold you to that for just a second, because one of the reasons why they wanted into Long Island was that they were also trying to woo the Celtics out of Boston.
Oh, wow.
Remember, Delaware North, who owns the Bruins, owns the Garden. I don't know if they own, I don't know what the current, or I don't think the Celtics have any part of the
I don't think so, yeah.
But so that's always been a very tenuous relationship between this different groups of Celtics ownerships, and there's been several, and the Jacobs family, who's owned the Bruins forever. And so they came very close. I mean, I just can't imagine the Celtics playing any place but Boston.
Right.
But because the lease agreements were so bad between the Bruins and the Celtics, that, I mean, it's one of the reasons why the Celtics didn't go on NESN, the pay cable up here. It's why they did a separate channel. They refused to go in.
Oh, wow.
That's why it's the Red Sox and the Bruins, and not all three.
Yeah,
like
Celtics
you see in many
Sports Channel, I think they were on, yeah.
Well, yeah, it was Sports Channel.
With Hartford. Hartford was on Sports Channel, too, the Whalers.
That's right.
So,
but yes, it's probably not as acrimonious now, but certainly back when you and I were kids, it was just it was terrible. And so there was some serious movement to get the Celtics to move to Long Island, and when they didn't do it, the Nets moved from the Rutgers or the 23rd Street Armory or wherever else they were playing in the ABA, and they moved to Nassau, and of course some guy by the name of Irving played there as well. And so basketball, but that's one of the reasons why they were trying to get the Celtics to move out. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so in my little fictitious world here, the WHA started up in 72-73. They picked up the Atlanta Flames and New York Islanders, and they also picked up a couple defectors from the NHL, the California Seals being one of them. So they defected to the WHA, and also the Toronto Maple Leafs defected.
So how upset, for a proper family word, do you think the Ballard family would have had to have been, considering they are the franchise of franchises in the National Hockey League, to bolt?
Well, what's funny is I was reading the complete WHA book, and we're going to have that author on as well too.
Yeah,
Scott Surgeon, I think his name is. He's going to talk to us about the WHA in that book. But reading the it's mostly a statistical book, but it does talk a little bit about what happened. And there were 5 teams blocking the merger of the WHA with the NHL, and Toronto was one of the staunch teams that didn't. They didn't want any. And I think you were the one that told me. that Montreal and Toronto didn't want any more teams in. They didn't want any Canadian teams in. And it was only when Montreal voted no, and Edmonton and Winnipeg, and there was one other city, Quebec, they all said they were going to boycott Molson beer. And when Molson found out about it, they were going to pull this. I think they're going to pull the sponsorship out of Montreal because people were boycotting Molson beer, and Montreal finally backed down and said, "Okay, we're okay with it."
Montreal and Toronto fought also on Vancouver's expansion, and here's the reason why. Man, I'm sick. You're making me use my head. What the hell's the matter with you? I'm telling you, Aunt Becky got to you as well. The Canadian television rights, that's Canadian with an A, not Canadian with an E, was split between Toronto and Montreal because they were the only two teams from north of the border, or north of our border, to be in it. And so any other teams in Canada, that money would have to be split evenly with that. And so if you added Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Quebec to the three, you were going to split a three-way pie into six. Now, granted, there was more TV money coming in, and it became big money. But, yeah, if you are splitting a half a pie with Toronto, and then you got to split it three ways and then six ways, yeah, you'd be kind of staunchly upset about that, too.
Yep, no, I don't doubt that one bit. But so as the story went, Vancouver had an issue with the schedule. And so when Montreal flipped the vote, they convinced Vancouver that the schedule would be fair for Vancouver. So Vancouver flipped the vote, and they just got enough votes to bring in the 4 teams from the WHA. But I thought it'd be fun to have California Seals, see how they would do in the WHA, along with the 2 expansion teams. And then I needed to bring another team in just to make it an even 8 in each division. And so I brought in the Maple Leafs just cause maybe they were spiting the NHL because, I don't know, again, it's my fictional world here. So
I loved it. I saw that this morning and I loved it.
And what I'm doing is I'm in Action PC Hockey, and I'm just simming the game. I'm not even playing them. I might play some playoffs or some key games later, but I'm just like, play a couple of weeks, look at the standings, play a couple of weeks, look at the standings. And it's a fun little project just to let the computer kind of play it out and see where everything falls. So I've been doing that. So I've been playing
Ballard Cup. That's probably how they did it. We'll name the cup after you if you jump.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we will. So I played some Action PC Hockey with the tribute game and then some WHA. More Strat PC baseball, and the Spiders got to win. The Spiders got to win, and I was streaming live when they got the win. It was so cool. I think it was like a 5-3 game. I want to say it was against Louisville, and Louisville had like 5 or 6 errors. And they scored every time. It was great. So the Spiders are 1-12, 1-11, 1-12, something like that in my replay there in Strat PC baseball. I'm really liking that 1899 season. That's kind of growing on me. I played a little bit more ultra quick hockey with the Edmonton Oilers in their, was it 80? Is it 85, 86, I think?
85, 86.
And I'm just keeping track of the scores and the Gretzky points. I want to see how good Edmonton can do rolling the dice on this, and then just the Gretzky points. So that's kind of a little thing off to the side I'm doing. I set up Studio A. Did I talk about that? No, I didn't. It was just last week that I broke down. We had some things in Studio A, and I kind of cleaned up Studio A. It took me all day. And the wife says, why don't we clean up some of the stuff and put a gaming table here? Now, I don't know if she was thinking about me, or if she was thinking about me not tying up Studio C. Because Studio C, I love Studio C.
I would think it's the latter, not the former.
So I'm thinking, she's thinking about me and my gaming. Oh, no, she just wants Studio C back. So I have a nice big table down here in Studio A that I played some Apple hockey. Of course, I set it up. I had to play Apple hockey. I worked all day cleaning up, setting up, vacuuming, and I was like, I need to play something. So I played some Apple hockey. Rangers, Blackhawks from 1970, I believe it was. Fun game. Just a one-off game I played. I picked up the on sale Strat PC basketball. And that seems to be going pretty well. The last one I had some problems with the animation. This one here, I'm tweaking settings, and it seems to be doing okay so far. Let's see how long it lasts, because last time it started off pretty good too. And I played like a quarter. I think I played Celtics and somebody for a quarter just to check it out, and it seemed to be pretty good. I still need to adjust the sliders so I can read the text and follow along, because I do like to follow along with the cards and dice games like I do with the hockey and the baseball. Mm-hmm. So I did pick up that. That was on sale. I think it was $33.50 because it was half price
with the card image too.
Yep.
I mean, the sale's over, but it was an amazing deal.
Yep, with the card image. So I got that, and I also picked up. I pre-ordered this a while ago. The Action PC Football was the 2022 edition, I believe it is.
Yeah, it's the most recent one. It came out late Wednesday night.
Yep.
So the 27th.
Yep. So I picked that up, and it was kind of funky to install, but I got that installed, and I was playing 76 Raiders and the Colts. Oakland versus Baltimore there. Boy, I couldn't move the ball.
Ghost in the post.
I couldn't move the ball against either team. Both of the teams are really good. But it's been a while since I played some Action PC Football, and I actually was rather enjoying it. Stable going back to pass, and Burt Jones, and remembering guys from that season. So I just kind of played, I don't know, like a quarter of that game. Just to kind of, set, you buy a game, you want to play it, but it was really late when I got to it because it got released late. But I did play a little bit of that. So, just kind of big smorgasbords of games this week. Finishing up that Spiders project on Ultra Quick Baseball was the biggest thing I did, though. And getting the Spiders a win in Strat PC, that was good, too.
That was fun. I bet it was.
Yeah, that was a good time. All right, so should we get on to the topic of the day?
Yeah.
All right, so I will let you kind of take this over. We're going to talk about playing while you're sick. I mean, and there's different kinds of sicknesses. Sometimes you're laid up with an injury, but we're talking about just not feeling good and what you feel like playing. So why don't you take it away?
Yeah, I mean, when you can't sleep, or you've slept enough, or whatever it is, it's always good, I think, to keep your mind busy doing something when you're sick, because just to get your mind off the fact that you're sick. And because then it could just kind of make itself worse. And so, some of you just may binge watch something on Netflix or YouTube, or others just may pick up the old game console and play Pac-Man for hours on end. Just something to keep your mind off what's going on. And so I alluded to it a little bit when I was doing, what I played. You just kind of want a comfort food. What is it that you're going to do for a while that's not only going to make you take your mind off of the fact that you feel crummy, but make you forget and feel good about it? And for me, because it was my first real exposure to a lot of these games, Strat kind of fit the bill. And because on the PC version, it does save after each and every play. If you feel like, nope, I can't take any more of this, or nope, I need to go to sleep right now, you can just pick it up where you left off. Or with the cards and the dice, hopefully the pen or the child won't knock your stuff down. But so for me, that was it. Just kind of like, okay, we go back, and for me, the cards and dice, or the fake cards and dice, was enough of immersion, and it just got that brain to work. And for that 45 minutes, just to kind of forget about all the sniffles and hacks and all that, and instead of checking the 7 websites you check over and over and over again. Because at one point, my Facebook feed went down this week.
They've been acting funky. I've had a hard time to get that to load myself.
The groups had started to do that. There were posts that had popped up from 5 or 6 years ago. I ended up having to shut off my ad blocker on Facebook in order to become, keeping people updated on how my wife and I feel, and couldn't read any of the responses. So anyway, that was, so it's just kind of like, here's something to focus on. And it's not, none of those games are, even the super advanced, because the computer does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, are terribly taxing on the brain. You're not really having to do math. There's some decisions in Strat, but there's not, okay, is it pass, penetrate, or shoot? Or do you go to intimidate? And for me, that's always a yes, because you never know. Just something there, and something kind of fun to look forward to. And so I think that's what we came up with. The topic was, I think it depends on, even when you're just having a crummy day, you don't necessarily have to be sick. You know, you like when you have had a bad day, you can put your feet up on the desk and play something kind of mindless. I think we're just really talking about the same thing, but you know, what do you do to try to take your mind off of things? I mean, because potentially when you're sick, like I've been the last week, I mean, again, we never thought it was life-threatening, but you know it's there and you're worried about your spouse. And my mom didn't feel well for a couple of days as well. And so it's not optimum conditions to try to get better when you're worried about other people. And so it really did help just for that hour, 45 minutes to an hour, just to worry about that. And I thought I was supposed to beat the Canucks easily. No.
But it is, like I said, it's a good way to take your mind off it for a little bit. It's a good way to get out of bed and do something.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And, you know, but I suppose you could, if you had enough energy and your mind was clear enough, you could, you know, play another game in a project. Or what I like to do is when I'm really kind of, you know, just down and out or whatever it is, I like just to kind of just play a one-off. In fact, sometimes I don't even finish the game. I'll start something, and whether it's cards and dice or whether it's on the computer, just start something that I would enjoy and say, okay, what would really make me happy? Sometimes it's about that. I want to be happy. So I'm going to play a team or a player or a matchup or something I like. I might even play a really good team against a really bad team and smash the crap out of them just to feel good about myself. You know, again, whether it's cards and dice or computer. And sometimes, it's that it's the home cooking there. It's
absolutely you need the meatloaf thing.
It's
other things.
something to make you feel good inside, something to lift your spirits. Maybe you have a really crazy game that's, oh man, I didn't expect this. This was fun. But you have fun. You exercise your mind. You're not laying there in bed doing nothing. And again, like I said, you can stop it at any time. And I've done it so many times where I played, half a game or a period or a quarter or something. And that, something? That's all I needed. That was enough for me to enjoy, to scratch the itch, to get out of bed, to exercise the mind. And that's all I really wanted to do. That's all I had.
Yeah, no, there was another game I did. It's a train game. And not one I've shown off on the channel before, but essentially it's a sandbox game, which are always good for when you're not feeling well, because if you mess up, it doesn't matter. You start again. It's just kind of, okay, I need to go from real life point A to real life point B, and there's no pressure, and you can do the music or whatever it is, and you do it, you make a mistake, it saves every 15 minutes, you can go back, start again. And that was kind of relaxing too, just to able to think about something else besides, oh, crummy, here we go. Now you got the cough, and you're listening to the spouse cough in the other room, and that just to keep that. It's just, again, I suppose it'd be the same thing like if you pulled a crossword puzzle out.
Yeah.
Just enough, again, to keep the mind active and keep the mind busy, and again, not to belabor the point, but just something to focus on besides the fact that you feel like you got ran over. And again, it depends on, if you can't sleep. The other thing is, if you think too much, then your mind won't shut off. And I've played games that have done that too. But yeah, I can see where, again, that home cooking, that meatloaf, that period, just to go back, period or quarter or couple innings, just to go back and go, okay. And I think with computers, it makes it easier because you don't have to sit there and pull out the cards and the dice and fill out the score sheets. And I mean, because one of the things with COVID, or at least with me with COVID, is that it just zaps you. It just zaps your energy. And I think if I tried to do even something as simple as fill out the score sheet for the motorsport game, which isn't, we've talked about that in the show, and it isn't difficult in any way, shape, or form. You fill out a chart, and then you play the game from the chart. I can't imagine having the energy to actually play the game after filling out the chart. There's just, even that 10 minutes of prep work was there. I just really needed something. It's kind of like, you're reaching in and grabbing that Lean Cuisine or your favorite frozen meal. the meatloaf. Again, the Stouffer's meatloaf, the Stouffer's lasagna. Sometimes you just need that. And I think that's where we're kind of going with this. And I think we all do it in our own different ways. And you like one-offs anyway. You know, it wouldn't be, I think, because our minds tend to race. And, you know, I could see what you were talking about. I could see you doing that if you were sick. Just trying to create this crazy project because you got too much time on your hands and doll things up. And by the time you get to play it, you're just too tired. And you wake up the next morning and go, what the Toronto, what?
Yeah. I mean, that goes along is, you know, coming home tired from work late at night too. And you're not ready for bed, but you're not really to learn something new. So for me, the tired factor comes in where I just put up my feet and just do something fun on the computer. Or like I say, maybe I roll some of those Ultra Quick Spiders games. And, you know, I've done that too. You know. I think a lot of it, though, depends on what your sickness is. I mean, because there's been times where I've just felt lousy and I was like, you know, I'm not going into work. You know, I got to shut it down tonight. No work for me. But you don't feel so horrible that you're in bed. But it's, you know what I mean? You're in that gray area where it's like, I don't feel good enough to go to work and tackle that, but I'm not really needed in bed. So this would be a perfect time to game. Cause instead of just sitting there watching TV, why don't I game? And you have it. And
your head.
Yeah, you're using your head. Your head's kind of clear. Maybe your body's just tired or whatever. And you can get in a lot of gaming time when you're in that kind of sickness mode where it's like, I don't want to be thinking about work stuff and have to make mistakes, but the gaming stuff, it's fun, it's enjoyable. I can start and stop when I want to. I can do whatever I want. There's no pressure on me, and I'll play a lot while I'm homesick, let's say. And there's other times, like you said, it's like, man, I need to do something. And, you know, like I say, you set it up, and after you set it all up, you're tired, and you never quite get to it.
And it's such, you know, and the thing with the motorsport is sometime this week I will make a video on it because I'm not going to do any live streaming. But it would be just that little bit of setup, even having the names written down, but looking through, and which for me is an enjoyable part of the experience to go, oh, such and such is going to get this grade today, and they're going to get that. It's like, no, that's too much. That is too much. I just want to have something set up for me and go. And that was the case. And the other thing, too, is that, you know, for those of you out there who might have, you know, have struggled with COVID and beat it, for a lot of you, I know that sleep was an issue. And you get mad at yourself. Why can't I sleep? Because that's what we do with everything else. You get the flu or a hard cold, you just try to sleep it off. And so for me, it helped. Okay, don't be bad at yourself, because by Wednesday or Thursday, someone, you know, close friends were telling me that's a common thing to have happen with this. You just can't do it. And that made you feel better, because your first instinct is, okay, I'm going to shut down. And your body, for me, wouldn't do it. And so that was another way to, again, pass the time. It would be just like pulling out a favorite book and reading it. You know, I could see. So.
Yeah. So I think it really depends on how clear your head is and how much energy you have to how much you can play, you know, while you're sick, and what you feel like tackling. And, you know, there's times, again, that I'm home and I'm not feeling good, or maybe it's like snowy out, work got canceled anyway, and I'm just, you know, just kind of just feeling down, and I'm like, oh, I have the time now. I have all day to play this new game that I haven't tried before. But I'm like, do I really have the energy in my head to try to learn something new?
Right, exactly.
And that's a tough thing too, because you have the time, but you just sit and you pull it out, and you're like, you start reading the directions, and you're like, you know, I really don't think I have the energy to go ahead and fire up a brand new game here and try to learn it. And then you don't want to get frustrated, too, because you're tired and you give up. So it's one of these things that I look what I want to do. I evaluate how I'm feeling, what I think I'm capable of doing, how much time do I have, and then go from there. But I think I've also gamed when I've been sick. In fact, the last time I think I was really sick, I think I was in bed and I had the little laptop thing with me, and I was playing Inside Pitch on the computer there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
And Inside Blitz as well. So I'm in bed, and I was going to bed real early because, okay, I am not feeling good. I don't want to get sick, so I curl up in bed, the electric blanket. This is over the winter, and I just grabbed that, and I was playing some football and some baseball, and I think that's the night that I had the crazy game with Seattle and Toronto, where it was like 17-4 or something. It was like 12-0 in the first inning.
Gave up like 11 runs in the first.
Yeah, it was nuts, and I kept the pitcher into the second inning because I didn't want to take him out. But yeah, I've done that because those games are great for that, where if especially the football game, where I really know how to play that very well, and I just clicked around and watched the game unfold, didn't have to make a lot of decisions, and just sat back and enjoyed it, and clicked around, and that's the other thing too. The game really has a lot to do with it too. If there's a game where you need to make a lot of decisions, or if there's a lot of setup, maybe that's not the game to play while you're sick. Well, there's other games, if you could just kind of watch it unfold, maybe let the computer handle it. Those are really fun to play because you're not thinking as much as you might need to in another game. So different games do different things too. And sometimes it's fun to play on the computer. And other times it's fun to roll the dice. It's like, man, I'm rolling dice tonight. I'm just going to do it. What am I going to play? Do I want to play, a quick play game? Do I want to, play shootout hockey or something like that that's fairly quick? And you roll the dice and you have some fun with that. And so the different games come into effect. And that's what's great about this hobby is we have all kinds of games. You have your games you play in a minute, and you have your games that take 2.5 hours to play. And it all depends. And there's been times that I've had the sniffles and I've played all day. And there's other times I've been down and out, and you play for 5 minutes. But I think it is important to get some gaming in instead of just vegging in front of the TV.
Right. No, I agree. And so my energy level is kind of flatlining as we finish this. So,
yeah.
But yes, it's important to do that. And again, because you might not feel well tummy wise, and we were lucky with this that we were able to eat reasonably what we wanted to through this. So if there was something that we wanted, we could eat that. And sometimes that'll make you feel better. Yeah. But yeah, just that little, whatever it is, again, you know, when you're ahead, how complicated or how easy you want to make it.
Yeah. And it's funny you said the stomach thing, because if you have to run for the bathroom, let's say, but there's times that I'm running for the bathroom, but the rest of me feels pretty good. And after you come out of the bathroom, you feel like $1 million, and you're like, hey, I'm going to go downstairs and play something. And then 10 minutes later, you run back in the bathroom. But, after so you couldn't go to work, you couldn't go out anywhere, but you could absolutely, sit at the table and play games as long as you can run to the bathroom, every so often. I've had those too, where it's like, man, this sucks. I know what it is. I just got to wait it out, but I'm gaming because, my head's clear. My body feels good, except my stomach is just in knots right now. And I'm going to be, doing that for all day long. So I can't go out. So now I can play. It's just clear the path. Don't get anybody, dog, get out of the way.
That's right. So cards and dice can't talk, and we're glad.
So, all right. Hey, before we wrap it up, let's get to our 3 stars of the week.
3 stars.
All righty. So, again, these goes out to our Patreon members who are help supporting the show. And we want to start off with our 3rd star of the night, and that is Hockey Unreal. All right, Hockey Unreal. Thank you so much for supporting the show.
He's working on a game too, right?
Yes. I've been following along on that. Yep, he's working on a hockey game, so it's been kind of fun watching that. Let's see, a new supporter here, Craig S. Craig. Thank you so much, Craig, for supporting the show and the channel. And our number 1 star of the week, I think he was there when the Spiders won. He was live with us, and K-Fan. Thank you so much, K-Fan. And those are our 3 stars of the week. Hockey Unreal, Craig S., and K-Fan. In no particular order. Thank you guys so much for supporting us here on the channel. All right, let's wrap things up here. All right. By the numbers, this has been episode 133, kind of a shorter episode, but we dragged Ron.
That was not my temperature this week, by the way.
It wasn't, yeah. So we dragged Ron out from his covers there, and he's actually looking pretty good. I'm looking at him here on the channel. He does look good. His voice is tired, but I got to say he's got some color in the face, and he's looking a lot better than he did a few days ago. So hopefully Uncle Ron is coming out of the woods. Will be with us Saturday night again. Saturday night, May 7th. We're talking baseball, Spiders baseball with J. Thomas Hetrick as he talks about his book Misfits, Baseball's Worst Ever Team. You ask him your baseball questions. He's going to tell you baseball stories. I'm hoping Saturday night is going to be a real fun time, and hopefully Ron's going to be up for joining us. So it's again Saturday night,
absolutely,
May 7th on my YouTube channel. Let me see. Ways to get a hold of us. digitaltodice.com is the website. 978-751-DICE is the dice line. digitaltodice@yahoo.com. And I've been getting a lot of people asking for the APA score sheets on the email there. So I've been sending those out. And if you're interested, I did set up a group for APA Hockey. Just search APA Hockey Group. I think on Facebook. I think I linked it in Digital to Dice because the Facebook pages are so awful as far as, you post on the page and no one sees it. And I got to jump through hoops to find out what it was and comment. And so the groups, you get posted, you get everything. The groups are just so much better. It's almost like the regular feed. So I started an APA Hockey group. Just search APA Hockey in groups, and it's slowly growing there. And it's been very active. It's been way more active than the APA Hockey page because you can see things there. So if you're on the APA Hockey page or APA Games or anything like that, just jump over there to APA Hockey on Facebook. So again, that is our email, digitaldice@yahoo.com. And over on Facebook, our group is facebook.com/groups/digital2dice. All righty, so that wraps up show 133. Actually, it wasn't as short as I thought it was going to be. Ron lasted quite a long time, so that was kind of good. So the energy's back up. I see that the nurse is there with your next enema, so I will let you get to that so you can get busy with that.
Yes. All right.
And so we'll join us this Saturday night as that should be episode 134 that we record live on Saturday. So I'm Dave.
I'm Ron.
Talk to everybody later.
Bye-bye.
No, give me a sick bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I like that one.
Okay, Aunt Becky, you can put the enema away now.